Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert here from the Business Awards show, and I'm also the founder of the Best Business Women Awards. And today I am joined by Alex Stanley from Lux Leopard Lifestyle, who is a personal stylist and fashion consultant and has a very special interest in sustainable fashion as well, and has done all kinds of things since she started her business nearly 5 years ago. So, welcome, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited
Oh.
to be here.
So we always start on our show, we're talking about the journey and what takes somebody to their business, because obviously most people don't wake up one day and have got a business. You have to put some thought into that. So what made you start your business and what was your background before that?
So the big catalyst for me was having my daughter.
Hmm.
So my background prior to having my business was as a fashion buyer. So I worked for the likes of Marks and Spencer and Amazon for about 15 years as a buyer across all the different categories that you can imagine. Absolutely loved it. It was my dream job. Studied at London College of Fashion, knew exactly what I wanted to do, was very fortunate in that sense, I think. And I got to travel the world and I got to be the person sort of behind the scenes, creating the trends and creating the product that, finally got to see in store and actually see women walking down the street wearing things that you'd created was amazing.
Wow.
But I started to fall out of alignment with it, probably as I became pregnant with my daughter,
Hmm.
um, and just started. I think it makes you reevaluate
Yeah.
everything about your life and your priorities and your values and all that kind of thing. And I started to realize that it was very much out of alignment with my values, and the amount of waste and the impact that fashion and the fashion industry has. So when I had my daughter, I had that time on maternity leave to start thinking about how I could use my skills in a much more positive way. And I happened to be connected with somebody who's a personal stylist through Instagram. And it really appealed to me. So I thought I'll do a bit more investigating and decided to train with her one-to-one and really just went from there because I actually used it in my own kind of reinvention on becoming a mum and saw how powerful it was in changing my confidence. And I thought, it's a real great alignment with my skills, but also with wanting to create a more positive impact as well.
Mm. And then you've kind of developed this business around sustainable fashion. What's the thoughts behind that then, and how do you deliver that?
So that was very much about wanting to leave behind like a better world for my daughter and for future generations. I think that was one of the biggest wake up calls for me. I mean, I had very questionable shopping habits from a lifetime in the fashion industry. We used to go inspirational shopping in the most incredible places like Paris and Hong Kong and New York and all of that kind of thing. So I was used to going out and buying lots of new things on a pretty much weekly basis.
Mm.
And I really, decided that that was not the right thing to do. And then going on my own journey and changing my consumption habits and becoming more sustainable and doing the research really, it then made me feel very passionately about helping other women to do the same, because I think it can feel so overwhelming, and that sense of what I call eco anxiety can just feel like so much that you actually just end up not doing anything at all. So I really wanted to help other women to see that creating a few sort of small changes to how we
Mm.
shop and being more intentional and getting to know what works for you, and trying to stop that whole kind of FOMO cycle where you end up buying into things that don't really work for you, and
Mm.
that creates waste and all of this kind of thing. It became a really important part of my ethos as a stylist to help women to create those more positive ways of shopping.
So for context, what is the issue with buying new clothes all the time? Why is that a problem for the environment?
I think one of the biggest things is that we often think that if we donate to charity or if we give to a clothing bank or those kind of things, that those clothes just go you know, somewhere else, that they're away somewhere else. But actually, you know, the real eye-opener for me was watching things like Stacey Dooley's documentary. I can't remember what it was called now, but something along the lines of like Fashion's Dirty Secret. She showed these like huge oceans of water that were completely dried up because of the impact of the pollution in the fashion industry and the amount of water that's used. Like it takes 10,000 litres of water to create one pair of jeans, just to put it into context. So, and also things like a large, I think it's something like 60 to 70% of the clothing that we buy now is made from, you know, man-made fabrics like polyester, which ultimately are derived from fossil fuels. So if you imagine the impact of creating that amount of, you know, oil or coal, or if you go right back to the start of where that cycle starts, I think we kind of have lost that connection with the clothes that we're buying, essentially, and understanding where they're actually coming from. And then there's the whole other side of it, which is the humanitarian impact, because most fashion brands don't pay a living wage to their workers. There's a lot of humanitarian impact in terms of the way that the workers are treated. So there's a lot of different elements as to why I'm passionate about us changing those shopping habits, but those are probably, you know, the two main reasons.
So how can people change their shopping habits? I mean, what are the first sort of tips that you can give to someone who's got a wardrobe stuffed full of clothes and says they've got nothing to wear?
Oh, it's so
I
common.
mean, exactly. So what sort of things should we be thinking about?
I think the biggest thing for me is, you know, aside from understanding what you're buying and all that kind of thing, is just starting with understanding what it is that works for you. So, you know, knowing what colors work for you, knowing what your body shape is so that you know what shapes are going to suit you, and really building your wardrobe around things that you really, really love, that you're going to treasure, you know, forever ideally, but at least for, you know, a longer period of time. And kind of having that capsule wardrobe, that dream wardrobe that you love, so that every time you open your wardrobe, it's like having your own sort of VIP boutique at home, so that you then don't feel the need to constantly buy into all the new trends and to get caught up in what other people are telling you that you need, because you really know yourself and you know what works for you. I think that intentionality is the biggest tip I could give.
And so how do you work with a customer when they come to you for advice? What's your system that you do with them?
So it depends where they're at. Some people just want to do, you know, something one-off like personal shopping because they hate shopping, and, you know, they're also quite curious around sustainability, so they want to you know, go to the charity shops or shop from sustainable fashion brands, but they don't know where to start. And other people come for a complete transformation, so they want to come and completely overhaul the way that they feel, their confidence, and work through their existing wardrobe, understand what colors work for them, understand what their style personality is, so that they know what they're looking for when they go out shopping, and then have the kind of personal shopping experience and really nail what their outfit formula looks like. So that whole process I take them through is my Luxe style formula, and that's over a 3-month process normally, so it's quite intensive, but it creates that real transformation in how someone feels about themselves and their confidence.
Which is so important at the end of the day. And I guess in the end, it saves them money and time knowing the right outfits to pick.
Yeah,
and then they're
absolutely.
not making impulse purchases that are not the right thing for them.
Yeah, I've had clients in the past that have said it saved them sort of over £5,000 a year, because they were like I was before, you know, just buying new things on a weekly or monthly basis, because they'd panic thinking, oh, I need something for an event or somewhere I'm going or that kind of thing, and not realizing that they probably already had the pieces within their wardrobe, but they just couldn't really see the wood for the trees.
And you've just been involved in quite an important event in St Albans, haven't you? The sustainability event that took place. So talk me through what you did with that.
Yeah, so it's the St Albans Sustainability Festival, which they've been running for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I've been involved with it for about 3 or 4 years. And previously it's been events kind of all over St Albans and Harpenden. But this time they brought it together as a one big event, which was at the Alban Arena, which was really great to have everything all in one place over 3 days. So I did the kind of opening event for the expo, which was amazing. It was our charity catwalk fashion show. So I worked really closely with Rennie Grove Peace Hospice Care, which is a local charity. And I basically sourced all of the outfits from their local charity shops. But I kind of did it so it was in line with the trends so that people could see, you know, these are the kind of things that you can find in your local charity shop. And we had 10 incredible volunteers that modelled for us. And it was actually really lovely because we had a family of models who were, we had a grandma, 2 mums and a daughter, whose relative had been cared for by Rennie Grove. So they did a talk about how, you know, how much the charity meant to them and the meaning behind when you donate to charity. It's not just about, you know, dropping off your donations at the charity shop. This is actually what gets kind of bought by the charity. It's, you know, nursing care and everything else that goes into it. And I think we had a lot of feedback from the event that really touched people because it made them realize, you know, it's so much bigger than just, you know, being better with your fashion choices. It's actually, you know, you're changing people's lives by donating to charity as well. So it was brilliant. And we had a little pop-up shop afterwards, which had my curated edit and all the outfits from the fashion show. And that raised £1,000 in half an hour, which was
No, that's brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So people were straight over wanting to buy what they'd seen on the catwalk.
I think it was a bit of a bun fight because there were about 85 people in quite a small space all fighting for the outfits that had been on the catwalk.
Oh, that's amazing. I remember doing a charity fashion show many years ago, same thing. And in fact, people were literally going, the models themselves were saying, I'm having this, you know, I'm taking this because it's so lovely.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a great way to raise money and awareness for charity and talking about the sustainability as well, which is great. So obviously started your business nearly 5 years ago, and networking's played quite a big part for you, hasn't it, in the growth of your business? Talk me through a bit of that.
Yeah, so I think it's funny because I always say the thought of networking when I worked in corporate was always like, oh, couldn't think of anything worse kind of thing. And I think Business Women Unlimited was probably one of the first networking groups that I came to and I just absolutely loved. Whereas I'd been to, I won't name names, but I'd been to a couple before then that had been a less than positive experience, shall we say, and just didn't really suit my personality and you know the way that I like to connect with people. But I loved the kind of community and support around Business Women Unlimited, and it's been such a nice way for me to meet people locally and have that support as a business owner, which I think I really underestimated coming out of corporate into working by myself. And it's created some great collaborations as well. I've done some brilliant events with other members of Business Women Unlimited and some other local networking groups that I go to. So I think often people go to a networking group thinking, you know, what business can I get out of it or what clients can I find and that kind of thing. And it's not really been about that for me. It's much been about, I guess, about kind of raising my profile and getting my brand name out there, but more so about having that support and, you know, building my community around me of other business owners who are kind of going through the same experience as well.
Yeah, and they understand what it's like, because your friends and family don't get it unless they have a business, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just don't get it and they think you're just sitting at home watching This Morning every day, when in fact, no, there's a lot to do. So you entered the Shining Star Awards, and it was great to see the judges picking you out, because I think you've made a huge impact in the community in St Albans. So that must have been a nice feeling.
It was amazing. I didn't expect to win, which sounds like a funny thing to say if you enter awards. But you know, there's a lot of incredible women within that community. So yeah, I felt very touched to have won. And I think it was also having nominations from other people as well for the Network Award meant a lot to me, because I don't think I've necessarily thought of myself as like, you know, the best networker.
Wow.
But to have people say that, and that, you know, the things that I read that they'd sort of nominated me for was really nice. And I think it helps you kind of develop and grow as a person as well, understand your strengths and understand and see yourself in a different way than perhaps you're used to.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, you have put a lot into your community, your business community, and your local community. And I think people have recognised that, which is amazing. And that's led you to be nominated for the Rising Star Award at the St Albans Chamber Awards next.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah, again, I was so, you know, surprised and touched that they reached out to me about that as well. And again, it's been nice. I've had to sort of have evidence from people within the community and clients and things like that. And it's been a great part of the process to, you know, hear feedback from other people. As part of that, I think it really helps you to understand how people perceive you and your brand and what's meaningful to other people about what you do.
I think you're a great example, to be honest, of somebody who's taken herself out there into the community with their business, and you've helped the community and you've been part of the business community, and that has helped your business to grow. So it's almost like the stuff that you're like watering your garden, and everything's growing because of all those seeds that you've sowed. And I think you're a great example, to be honest with you, of somebody that really has done that really well. Because, you know, I speak to people, like you said earlier, they go to a networking event and they'll say, oh, networking doesn't work. And I'm like, well, how many events have you been to? Well, I've been to a couple and didn't get any business from it. And, you know, so I've given up. Well, you know, you're going to be very lucky if you get business the very first time you ever go to a networking event.
Definitely.
And it's about how you've used that community. I think it's like you touched on the collaboration side as well. So what other advice would you give to people starting a business?
I think one of the biggest things is really understanding what your kind of higher purpose is, or your bigger mission, because it is a roller coaster. It's not going to be smooth sailing all the way through, and you have to have that bigger vision to almost get you through those tougher times. And for me, that has obviously been my sort of guiding ethos around sustainability and creating a better world to leave behind for my daughter, and also the element of, you know, female empowerment and making women, you know, feel amazing and be able to be visible and show up as the best versions of themselves. So I think having that guiding purpose is really important. You know, you can't just go into having a business thinking, oh, I just want to make money, because it's not going to get you very far. So I think having that bigger purpose is really important.
So what's next for you? What's your kind of growth plans for the next year or so? What other things are you up to?
So I'm also trying to get myself out there a bit more in terms of speaking. So I've really enjoyed doing a lot of speaking within sort of private memberships and networking groups and things like that. So I'm kind of taking it to the next level and doing bigger events now. So I've got the Good Clothes Show, which is happening in September at the Birmingham NEC. So I'm really excited about that. It's I've been a part of building what that looks like with the team that are creating it, and it's going to be such an incredible event. They're hoping to have about 10,000 people, I think. And it's basically based on, you know, the original clothes show, but all around sustainability and pre-loved and upcycling and swapping and all this kind of thing. So I'm going to be a speaker on their main stage, but I'm also part of the styling lounge. So there's 3 stylists there, and you can come and have a kind of styling experience with one of us. So I'm excited about that. And then just looking for more, you know, speaking opportunities and really helping people to create that, you know, much bigger ripple effect. So Tedx is another thing that I applied for this year. So Tedx St Albans. So I'm currently first reserve. So we'll see how that pans out. But it's been such a great experience just learning from the team behind Tedx St Albans. It's an incredible team because it's all kind of voluntary, but they do a lot of coaching around speaking and scripting and all of that kind of thing. So it's been a great learning curve for me.
Yeah, get some applications in for some other areas for TEDx.
Yeah,
if you got reserve, that's really good. What's the topic that they're covering on the next one for St Albans then?
It's curiosity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But have a
Yeah.
look, because there might be some more sustainability out there as well. So,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true, actually.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Well, if anyone's listening to this podcast, are you looking for a speaker for an event?
Yeah.
We'll make sure Alex's details are in the show notes. Well, it's been great chatting to you today and listening to your journey and listening to your passion about the clothing industry and the issues that are out there, because actually clothes are there to be enjoyed, aren't they? But if
Absolutely.
you can enjoy them with a bit of a clear conscience that you have done all the things that you could do.
Yeah.
And I actually personally love going to charity shops and doing some shopping and Vinted and eBay. I mean, because I am one of those people that hates going clothes shopping.
You're not alone.
Yes. So I'd much rather just sit flicking through and finding pieces. Sometimes they've already, you know, they've still got the tags on, so they're not
Yeah,
even been
absolutely.
worn, that people have bought, and obviously they don't fit them or they don't like them. And I've probably saved a fortune over the years on doing that.
Definitely.
And I think when it comes to donating, I think we have to be mindful of donating quality things to charity shops rather than, because they end up having to you know, I don't know, I presume it goes off to be recycled or something, not
Yeah.
landfill, but you know, things with stains and buttons missing is not what they want, is it?
Well, I think also it's good from the charity's perspective if you do that, to like separate it out into, they call them like rag bags. So
Yes.
that, you know, saying this is a rag bag and this is like, you know, decent quality donations, because it really helps them from a processing point of view as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Alex, and we wish you continued success with your business.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being such a big part of it.
Oh, thank you.